Hey, I'm Jay Porter from Radial Engineering, and we are really excited to announce that the HDI is now shipping. So, HDI, we first showed this at NAMM this year, and we really thought at NAMM that we were going to be a few weeks away. Well, what a few weeks those were. Of course, we've ended up with the world in quarantine and everybody locking down, so it was took a little longer to get this thing out and shipping. But we're finally there. It's finally hitting the shelves, and we're really excited for people to hear it. A little backstory behind the HDI. A couple of years ago, when our head engineer started working for us, Hutch Hutchison, he came from Manley Labs and Rupert Neve Designs and a bunch of other companies. He's been involved with some huge products with a lot of pedigree, and he knows his circuits. So I said to Hutch, I would really love for you to work on a DI box. And he looked at me and said, "Really? You really need another DI box?" I said, "Well, we're Radial. People expect it. If you build it, they will come. They want another DI box from us, and I want something different." So Hutch didn't look very amused. He went home that night kind of scratching his head, but he came back in the next day and it was like a light bulb had gone off. And he came up to me and said, "I've got this circuit that I've been working on for a long time. I've never really used it anywhere, but I think it might work really well with a DI. How do you feel about color?" To which I replied, "Well, if it's your color, then absolutely. Radial's known for clean. We haven't been known for a whole lot of color in our DIs. Time to add something to the arsenal." You're looking at the front panel controls. We've got a high-low Z switch, so just a little input switch to make it kind of like a reminiscent of an old guitar amp where you have a high and low input. Just to give it a little extra versatility with different kinds of instruments. Next, you have a level control. That's your input level. That's what's going to drive signal into this thing and get it anywhere from clean to really saturated. Got a 2-stage opto compressor, just so you can tame some of those transients when you get a lot of level going on and you want to keep it clean but also very musical. Then you have the color control. So if you turn up this level nice and hot, you can get a nice saturation sound out of it, just like a guitar amp. And then as you use the color, it acts as kind of a wet dry and brings that saturation up. So you can go anything from very clean and pristine at the left all the way up to like Rage Against the Machine bass tones if you want to get that kind of grit and distortion out of it. Then you have the presence control. Presence, just exactly as it sounds, gives you a little extra top end, but also I find kind of acts as a bit of a wet dry. If you have this thing really distorted, you turn up the color, get a lot of grit out of it, you start bringing up the presence, it starts bringing that clean sound back in. So, if you use a bass with a distortion or an overdrive, it's always kind of lacking because the bottom end kind of disappears. Well, with this, you want to get a bass nice and overdriven and hot, then you can turn up that presence control and get things to clean up a little bit. So it's really nice, really musical. The trick to the color is a custom wound Jensen transformer that Hutch spec'd. He called up the guys at Jensen and said, "Hey, I need this. It's got to make this kind of sound. It's got to saturate like this." So he got the thing put together by them, and it's very nice and gives it that unique kind of color. Around the backside, you have a line output, so you can go direct into a line input on your interface. You don't have to go into a mic pre, but you want to use it like a traditional DI, it's got a mic pre out as well, or mic level output. And that has the JDI transformer, so it's basically got a Radial JDI inside of it, converting it down to that mic level. IEC power cable, no wall warts, 3.5 mini jack synth input on the back, so you can plug in your modular synth directly to the back of it, as well as an additional input and a processed output to go to the amplifier when you want some sound to go out of it. Very fun, very cool to play with. It's great on bass, loving it on acoustic guitar. We've been using it here in the studio, even on an electric when you want kind of that clean sound. You don't have to plug into that old Roland Jazz amp. You can just plug straight into this and get just a nice amplifier type sound. So again, HDI just starting to ship. Go check it out. We are really excited because we all love it. We've compared it with a lot of things and we've had a lot of fun with it, and I'm sure you will too.